you're not allowed to report that Kim Kardashian has obviously exploited her body for money. I mean, the way that she became famous was these sex tapes. Now it turns out, according to Ray J, that mommy
exploited her body for money. Oh God, I can't stop exploiting myself. Oh, help, I'm gonna exploit myself again.
So as already established, porn tends to erode your critical thinking skills, your powers of discernment and self-control. That
is this a self-report? Is this what happened that one time you opened up the private browser and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, can't even think. Where are my critical thinking skills? What am I doing? Why, man, these hands? Why are they motioning towards the porn hub dot? Oh God, it's I'm on the site now, and oh my, the things I'm seeing. Welcome. We now have to get to the center of the culture war, because this is very, very crucial and important. And it centers around pornography. Apparently, it's bad.
Well, folks, Candace Owens, she requires no introduction. Of course, she's a New York Times best-selling author, founder of Blexit. She's host of the brand new show, Candace Owens, named after her, obviously, on Daily Wire Plus. First of all, Candace, congratulations on the show. It is soaring up the charts.
I'm very excited about it. It feels like the right move to go 5 days a week.
Well, I mean, obviously, the audience agrees, given the numbers that we've been seeing. So let's talk about some of the stuff that you've been talking about on the show. So you did an episode yesterday about the normalization of pornography in the culture. It's the stuff that you can do better than pretty much anyone else. Because number one, if I talk about the normalization of pornography in the culture, I'm a sexist. If you talk about the normalization of pornography of the culture, then you're a feminist. So it's good. You can say these things. So what exactly were you talking about on the show yesterday?
You're not a sexist. But wait, what? If you talk ill of porn, you're a sexist? Is that where we've gone? Okay, fine. Based. I didn't know that happened.
Well, I will say, Ben, I did take a page out of your book and I dropped a couple of bleeps because it was just way too expletive. I went bleep, bleep, bleep. But I was just sort of talking about where we're headed towards, and it was a conversation that I was having with my husband about pornography. My husband completely abstains from social media, and if you ask him, he just casually says, because it's all pornography. And he's talking about Instagram, he's talking about Facebook, he's talking about opening up a page and looking at the...
Oh my God, are you serious? It's just like you're scrolling through your Instagram feed and you see someone in a bikini, like, oh my God, temptations, need to put that down. Away, Beelzebub.
Daily Mail, but we've become so desensitized to it. So when I'm on Instagram, I don't even pay attention to the fact that actually, yeah.
I'm gonna press X to doubt. I think any dude who has to go to such lengths to be like, my dear, I would never, ever watch pornography. It's disgusting. I will never succumb to its vices. In fact, I don't jerk off so hardcore. This is such a no-fap that I'm going to say right now, I don't even go on social media because that is too pornographic for me. Okay? The Meta logo, it looks like a pair of tits or balls. I can't decide. But every time I see it, I know that I'm being tempted. But no more. Like, yeah, I'm going to press X to doubt on that one.
No, there's just nothing but butts and people's tits on the internet at all times. But we've become increasingly as a culture saying that this is okay. And so I wanted to have that discussion about pornography. I was listening to a Catholic podcast and they were talking about how even the seeds that are being planted on porn websites.
If you see porn everywhere, who's the real perv crew? Like, do you not go outside? Do you keep yourself in like a completely painted white room and then have zero stimulation because you never know when you might be tempted by potential pornography? Like if you just walk down and you see like a Harvey's ad where there's like some beautiful woman on the cover with a hamburger, like, oh my God, porno. Ugh, it's everywhere. God damn it. Oh, soccer's coming around. I like sports. Oh, shirtless men. Oh God, more porno. What the fuck?
Websites, which I did visit yesterday, are all incestuous. And of course, it brought me to the conversation about Kim Kardashian, who has been in...
This is one piece of criticism that I may actually find some common ground with here. I do find it odd that like all porn has to be incest themed. Like, why is that? Why is that a thing? It's astonishing how much porno now is all incest theme. I mean, drop the tube sites, everybody. Go onto OnlyFans. Follow a couple people you like. Help them out. Give them, whatever their monthly subscription is. You'll feel better for it. You'll have ethical jerk-offs and rubbings, or however it is you pleasure yourself, or whatever your thing is. But at the end of the day, it is pretty weird how like it's just a massive, massive thing.
the news recently for something which is so abhorrent, if true, and it looks like it is true, that she actually orchestrated her own sex tape. Her mother sat there and watched the sex tapes, and it was a complete PR move. And they released the tape that they thought was the best out of 3 that they had her shoot, according to the man in the film, Ray J.
I mean, that's an unbelievable story. And of course, it gets completely ignored by the mainstream media for being disgusting. Instead, if it's paid attention to at all, it's sort of in the subculture of the internet, because you're not allowed to report that Kim Kardashian has obviously exploited her body for money. I mean, the way that she became famous was these sex tapes. Now it turns out, according to Ray J, that mommy
Exploited her body for money? Oh God, I can't stop exploiting myself. Oh, help, I'm gonna exploit myself again.
Kardashian was actually watching the tapes and helping to select which one she apparently looked best in. And it's not as though Kim Kardashian has cooled it recently. I mean, she recently appeared on the cover of Interview magazine wearing nothing on her bottom. I mean, this sort of stuff, you're right, has been completely normalized throughout the culture. This is a long process. I wrote a book in, I think, 2004 called Porn Generation about how pornography was being absolutely mainstreamed, how people who had been porn stars were now being made into mainstream cultural figures.
That's not a new phenomenon, Ben. Come on. It was way bigger in the fucking 70s. That's when it was reaching like mainstream appeal. That's when you had overlaps between people who were doing porn, people who were doing movies. They were all frenzies. It wasn't seen as such a vile thing. There was a sexual revolution that moved it all the way to the 80s, but then you started getting the more puritanical right-wing movement. And then, of course, under Reagan and Thatcher, you're probably going to get a condemnation of all things sexual. We don't like the bitties. Oh, no, people are being stimulated. But that's not a new phenomenon, if anything. There should be a normalization of sex workers. There really should. It's work like anything else. They should be normalized. If people want to, choose to do that and get into that industry, it shouldn't be vilified by weirdos like this on the internet. And of course, we got to do the PSA, because there is some things that are wrong with pornography. Pornography can be very exploitative. The industry can be very exploitative. The fucking tube sites are just the absolute fucking worst. There can be people who take advantage of people through human trafficking. That's obviously really, really fucked up. Like, it would be better if porn as an industry, the workers who are the people who are making the porn that everyone is so infatuated with, if they had more power, or if they just had ownership over the ability to be able to sell their own sex work. That would be a much better system, a more ethical one. And yes, of course, there can be porn addiction, like there can be addiction to anything. People can get addicted to everything, okay? You can get addicted to porn, you can get addicted to coffee, you can get addicted to orgasms, all these kind of things. Yes, people can be addicted. So for some people, it can be a problem. I would suggest you probably seek some help out for that if that is something that is affecting your life. If you no longer can have normal relationships, if you can no longer have normal intercourse, if you can no longer function sexually in society because you're so obsessed with porno, well, then yes, that is a problem. That's just one other problem. But that doesn't mean we should vilify or outlaw porn. And at the same time, it's perfectly normal and healthy to tell people that it's fine to masturbate. It really is. I'm sorry to say, it's fine. It's healthy even. It's not a bad thing to masturbate.
Because now they're being made into mainstream cultural political figures, but it takes people like you to say this sort of stuff.
Right, and I think it's really important, and what I always want to do with my show is further those cultural conversations, because I think in the past, conservatives have sort of looked at culture and said, well, it's not important, let's have a more intellectual discussion. But as you know, your late mentor, Andrew Breitbart, said politics is downstream from culture. So a lot of times we're looking around and we're saying—
that was Breitbart. I always thought it was Steve Bannon. Okay, I will correct myself. It's Breitbart who said that. Well, no, but Steve Bannon was the one working— well, either way. But that is why they concentrate so heavily on culture.
How are we even having this debate about whether or not, children have the autonomy over their bodies, and whether or not, which we are literally having a debate about right now, pedophilia is okay, right? People are saying, oh, well, children can pick their gender, children can be sexual beings. Well,
what the fuck are you talking about? What? No one is saying pedophilia is okay. In fact, if you really want to go after pedophiles, you should be going after fucking the right-wingers who are totally fine with child marriages. Those are fucking pedos. Those are pedos en masse, and there's fucking hundreds of thousands of them. Or all the fucking right-wing Republicans who are caught being pedophiles and doing pedophile shit. Real pedos. If you teach a kid about basic fucking understanding of the universe, such as gender, what is gender, how does it work, that has nothing to do with sexuality. You're not teaching them anything sexual. What is wrong with you?
Well, these conversations are happening because of what's going on in the culture. And so it's important that we attack that and that we call it wrong and that we call it, in the case of Kim Kardashian, satanic. Because I just became a mother to a daughter. You have daughters. I mean, could you even imagine the concept of quite literally selling your daughter's body for fame when they were already a wealthy family? They had everything at
I mean, that would be weird if you did it, Candace. If you were like, I want my daughter to go out and make sex tapes so I can sell them. Yeah, that would be pretty strange. But what people want to do with their own bodies should be their business, no?
They ever needed to be happy and to be successful, and yet it wasn't enough because fame was too tempting. I mean, it's really sickening stuff.
The mainstreaming of pornography really is an amazing story because the fact is that back in the 70s, the feminist movement said pornography is exploitative because it obviously is. It is pandering to the worst in men. It is pandering to male desires. It is causing women to have.
That's not the reason why it was exploitative and why it continues to continue. Like, sections of it can be exploitative. It can take advantage of people. Absolutely. Fucking any industry can. The thing that is just really fucked up for these people is their brains can't process the sex work aspect of it. It's because it involves sex, and sex is the sin and satanic and the bad thing that we only do once or twice when we need to make a baby, and then we cry for weeks afterwards. If you viewed the world in that lens, not that like sex can be wondrous, beautiful, and an incredible thing, not to mention fun as fuck, then you're going to see this as some kind of strange satanic ritual. Yeah, sure.
To exploit their bodies in order to get attention. This is all bad. And then the feminist movement shifted in the 80s and 90s, and suddenly pornography became empowering. In fact, you'll have Hillary Clinton going around the country and doing TV series on gutsy women. And the people that she's interviewing very often are people who are exploiting their bodies, obviously, for fame and fortune. It's an amazing, amazing shift. And meanwhile, you have an entire, I would say it was subpopulation.
You do realize a lot of these people are already famous before they release these sex tapes. Like, it's not like you can just make a single sex tape and you become incredibly famous. If that was the case, then like every single sex worker would also be a superstar celebrity at the same time. So would anyone who ever put like a single homemade video up on Pornhub or whatever those sites they're uploading them to. Like, if they made just one video, it's like, hey, here's me having sex, or here's me masturbating on a webcam. Boom, upload. Holy shit, I'm famous now. That's all it took. It's amazing.
I would imagine now it's probably approaching a majority of the male population of the United States that, if not addicted to pornography, uses pornography regularly, and has this, made men stronger, has this made marriages stronger. And then we look around and the media are decrying toxic masculinity. It's like, well, you guys really created the forces that unleashed a lot of this.
Right, and it's funny, you asked those questions and they're very important to answer. Has it made men stronger? Has it made families stronger? Well, that was the point, right? The feminist movement has nothing to do with women. It has nothing to do with trying to help women at all. They just like to still use the word feminism so that you can't attack it, right? Or else you're a sexist and you hate women. But in reality, it's actually harming women and it's harming families. And the reason for that is because it helps the government. And at the end of the day, in order for a government to grow in the capacity that it wants to grow and to be omnipotent in our lives, it needs to make sure that it is routinely denigrating the idea of the nuclear family unit, which stands in the way of a government and omnipotence. And so that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're talking about on the show. Pay attention to the various ways that they are attacking the family. It's through pornography. When I was in school, and this is a really horrible thing now that I'm looking at it in the retrospect, in health class, we learned that partaking in pornography, as a observer of pornography, watching porn, was a healthy thing. I learned about this in health class. It's a good thing for your relationship, for you to.
Again, I would probably press X to doubt that ever happened in America. Are you serious? In a school teaching kids that porn is good for you? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, y'all can barely teach human anatomy these days without everyone being like, oh, it's a fucking pedo class. It's like, I just wanted to show the reproductive system and how it works. We're not going to explain sex at all. There's not going to be a banana and a condom. It's just 100%. These are the testes. Testes! Fucking groomer. They just said testes.
Sit in a room, do something shameful, and observe other people having sex on the internet. I learned that. Think about what that really says about the state of things in school. Now that I'm an adult, I want to make sure that I'm having these conversations for young people to know that that's actually not correct. What you're learning in the public school system is not correct. And what they're trying to do is create you and turn you into basically a government slave, because your families will be ruined and you will have nothing, in my opinion. You'll look around and you'll say, my life has nothing of real substance and of real value. And it's because. And
then when do you become a slave to the government? At what point does that start? I'm fascinated by this idea. I just need to know where, I feel like we're missing steps.
As I believed these far left ideologies.
We'll get to more with Candace in just 1 second. First.
Oh, wait, what were you going to be selling? X-Cuts. Oh, damn.
Okay, how did that go?
So it was, so this is the exclusive, but it was wonderful, and I'm very excited for it to come out. It was just my perfect environment. I was sitting across from two doctors, doctors in the liberal arts. You held a PhD in something that is completely meaningless. And of course, they were holding the position that racism against white people is not actually racism. And of course, they were white. And I was holding the position that water is wet.
That is the most beautiful thing, is when they put you across from a person who is just supporting a position that is utterly insupportable. So that is just such a softball down the middle of the plate for you there, Candace. So I can't wait to see the clips from that. That's going to air in the next few weeks. I'm sure that is going to be amazing.
Don't say wet around Ben.
A brand new documentary.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, did you say wet? I feel triggered by this.
That is going to be coming out very shortly, called The Greatest Lie Ever Told, about the exploitation of George Floyd's death by Black Lives Matter and the mainstream media. Tell us a little bit, give us a sneak preview of what the documentary is going to be.
For sure. So first, I just want to answer a lot of questions that we've been getting about why it was so delayed. In the last hour, we shot this documentary, and literally within the week that we were going to premiere it, Black Lives Matter dropped their tax documents for the first time ever. And
Are we not talking about porno anymore?
Not just say the truth, but to continue to say the truth and to really unlock the answer to the question. What happened to the $90 million walk away? They realized Brittany Aldean, who's an entrepreneur in the...
You clickbaited me. Only half of this was about porn.
That has been prescribed.
And it wasn't even good stuff about porn. It was just all the same talking points. It's just simply amazing. Like, look what you've revealed. That pornography apparently is satanic, and that people make porn because it makes them super famous. And you can become super famous if you make one porno, and that's all it takes. And then, bam! Now you're a super celebrity. Just like that. Yeah, I feel like we didn't get any release, chat. I feel like we were just edged from no release. There has to be release at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be painful. It's just going to hurt, God damn. Would not watch again. Yeah, I don't think that didn't really deliver on what it said it was going to.
When a person is addicted.
Oh wait, we have more. Oh, okay. Let's see what Matt Walsh has to say about pornos. Hold on, all my tabs are opening at once. Mike, you have to settle down. Matt has to talk about porn.
Addicted to porn. They are exactly where our culture wants them to be, and how it wants them to be. So, as already established, porn tends to erode your critical thinking skills, your powers of discernment and self-control.
Is this a self-report? Is this what happened? That one time you opened up the private browser, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't even think. Where are my critical thinking skills? What am I doing? Why these hands? Why are they motioning towards the porn hub.com? Oh God, I'm on the site now, and oh my, the things I'm seeing.
That is all advantageous to the left. I mean, they love that. Porn isolates people, makes them lonely, emotionally and spiritually desolate and desperate.
The left literally is talking about building communities all the time. It's in the fucking name: communes, communism, working together, worker solidarity. That's the fucking, a whole bunch of people lonely in their basement benefits the fucking alt-right, no question. People, especially young men who are just spending all day on their computers, just terminally online, going into these forums and chat sites and stuff, and starting to hate women because they're lonely, and then the people online who tell them how to hate women are making them more lonely because women don't want to hang out with people who hate women because, yeah, surprise, surprise, it's not too pleasant to be around, so they don't get to have sex, so they keep watching this and they keep watching the porno. No, that benefits the far right, the alt-right. The left wants people in solidarity, working together, and then occasionally, consensually, if they want to, having orgies. That's what the left wants, all right? Massive lefty orgies. We're very clear about this. It's one of our policies. If you want to, you can be asexual, you can not want to have sex, that's completely valid and fine too. You can just be on a completely opposite end of that spectrum. That's totally fine. But we're just saying that it's definitely not something that benefits the left exclusively.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.